So a lot of people have been wondering, where's Andrea Tantaros? She used to be on air, very regularly featured on The Five, on Outnumbered, on many of the different programs on Fox News. And right before all the scandals about sexual harassment broke out at Fox News, she was off the air. So the whole time we've been waiting and waiting for the other shoe to drop. So it's now finally dropped. So again, New York Magazine explains. Fox News senior executives have said they were unaware of sexual harassment allegations against Roger Ailes before former anchor Gretchen Carlson filed a lawsuit against him in July. But those claims are now being challenged by Fox host Andrea Tantaros, who says that she complained multiple times to senior Fox executives in 2015 about Ailes' inappropriate sexual behavior towards her. I don't know why this is still a shock to people. It's because nobody in the news world wants to acknowledge things that make them uncomfortable. Oh, but a lot of our friends worked at Fox News, and golly gee, it's so uncomfortable to talk about what was the obvious, grotesque problems over there. And partly because they were intimidated by Fox's PR department, which we found out also today, or at least confirmed today, had a black room where they would literally run PR campaigns against any of their opponents. So it is entirely unsurprising, given the dozens of women who've had allegations against Roger Ailes stretching back decades, that there would be many other women at Fox News who he did this to. So in this case, let's find out the details of what happened. Tantaros says that after she came forward, she was first demoted and eventually taken off the air in April of 2016. Now again, this is way before Gretchen Carlson comes out in July. And so the timing of it is clear that it's not related to Gretchen Carlson. This happened earlier. And it's the same fact pattern you see in all the other allegations. Either do something for me sexually, or I will remove you from being on air. Textbook sexual harassment. It doesn't get any worse than that. So now she explains, through her lawyer, Judd Burstein, Tantaro says that both she and her agent told Fox Executive Vice President Bill Shine, Senior Vice President Suzanne Scott, and General Counsel Diane Brandy about episodes of Ailes' alleged harassment. But you have to understand, at least two of those people, Bill Shine and Diane Brandy, have been implicated in almost all of the stories about how they helped cover up liaisons for Roger Ailes. They were the ones who authorized the payments for the sexual harassment lawsuits that were settled out of court. So unsurprisingly, when Tantaros goes to complain to the people who are doing the cover-up for Roger Ailes, they go, what problem? I don't know what you're talking about. So according to Tantaros' account, Ailes began harassing her on August 12th of 2014. During a meeting in Ailes' office, Ailes allegedly asked Tantaros to do the twirl so he could see her figure. She refused. Then in mid-December of that year, Ailes made another advance, Burstein says. Ailes asked her to turn around, and then he said, come over here so I can give you a hug. Now, some of you guys who don't understand sexual harassment will go, oh, what's the big deal? He just wanted to see her body a little bit, or maybe he meant something else by it, or he was just going to give her a friendly hug. No, but that's because you haven't seen the fact pattern in almost every other Roger Ailes case, the ones that we covered on the show that were uncovered recently. He always starts with, let me see your body, then he goes to a hug, then oftentimes he will, it's a crass way of putting it, but slip them the tongue. The reason I say it that way, because that's literally what he does. He forces to kiss them. And there's been stories of the people who have advanced his rejections, or rejected his advances, I should say, at different stages. Some say no in the beginning, some say no after the uncomfortable hug, some say no after showing their body, some have had him kiss him and then they recoil and run away. In some cases, he would take out his penis and show it to them and chase them around the room. And then there are the women who came out and bravely acknowledged, I said yes. And they explained what are unfortunately gruesome details of how he does this. And what he does, like most predators, is he reels you in slowly by doing things like, oh, what's the big deal? Just give me a really tight hug. So Tantaros was absolutely right to refuse that. I mean, she would have been right under all circumstances. But now that you know exactly how he brought women in a little deeper at a time, and then after a while, in one of the cases, this woman explained, then he would tape things and go, now I've got you on tape. You see, you said those positive things about me, or you already did X and you already did Y, so you better do more for me. This guy is a serial predator. He's done this for a long, long time. So Tantaros was absolutely right. So in February of 2015, Tantaros was pulled off the 5 p.m. program, The Five, and demoted to working full-time on the midday show, Outnumbered. In February of 2015, according to Burstein, Ailes allegedly harassed Tantaros again in his office, asking about her workout routine because her body, quote, looked good, and mentioning that she must, quote, really look good in a bikini. And yet another detail that fits all the previous fact patterns. Now, look, I just demoted you, but I think you'd look really good in a bikini. Show me your body, because maybe you can get back up to where you were. Your job might depend on it. Or if you don't play ball, you get taken off the air completely. In fact, on April 30th of 2015, Tantaros filed a former workplace harassment complaint about Ailes to Shine, Burstein says. The following day, Burstein says, Tantaros met with Shine to further discuss her harassment claims. Shine allegedly told her, quote, Roger is a very powerful man, and that she should, quote, not fight this. And of course, instead what she did was she filed the complaint. She did fight it. This is, again, way before the Gretchen Carlson situation. And then, lo and behold, they took her off the air. They said, oh, she put out a book that we didn't get to properly vet, and that's why we're removing her. But why did you demote her in the first place from The Five, which is a very popular show for Fox News? Her book hadn't been even out at that point. No, of course, the book was an excuse. Are you kidding me? Oh, they said, oh, it's because on the cover, she was bound up and they hadn't approved that. It might not be wholesome enough for Fox News. Given what Roger Ailes was doing behind the scenes, his problem was that Andrea Tantaros was not wholesome enough? No, his problem was the exact opposite. And her lawyer explains, she's telling her story now, he says, because she doesn't have the same fear of being attacked by the Fox PR machine. Now, she could be in violation of her contract that says to never talk about this, but she's going forward and saying, I got to tell the real story so you guys can know what actually happened and who Roger Ailes actually is and what happened behind closed doors on Fox News. Remember, Andrea Tantaros, we've covered her many, many times on this show. She's incredibly conservative. That book was a total right-wing attack against all liberals, progressives, etc. So, against what she considers PC culture. She's not, in the words of the conservatives, PC at all. That's what her whole book is about. She's very right-wing. She just doesn't want to be sexually harassed. And she was also afraid of what the Black Room and Fox News would do to her if she came out before. Now the Black Room has been exposed. That is the operation they run against all of their opponents when Roger Ailes ran Fox News. And now that it's been shut down, she's now coming forward and saying, I got to tell you what really happened, because whether you're liberal, conservative, doesn't matter. What happened behind closed doors there is totally unacceptable.